'04 Chevy Malibu, 3.5 I think it is. Gonna do the transmission on this one. We tried, put new solenoids in, no forward gears. Check the transfer tubes on the bottom of the transmission, they're all nice and solid, no leaks, still no forward gear. The band, not broken, still no forward gear. Actually, the pan didn't even have much filings in it either. Still no forward gear. The thing's about, I can't remember exactly what the mileage, I gotta go check that. What mileage this thing failed at. Turn this on. 131,000. So 131,000. The transmission is just junk. So got another transmission out of the junkyard, and for this particular year, it seems to be a 1 year only transmission. What's the difference? Don't ask me. Eventually, I'll probably take the transmission out of there and find out what the cause was, but for right now I'm not taking the engine out. I gotta take all this battery stuff out, the air intake stuff. Most all this is gonna come out right here so I can get access to the bolts on the top. Gonna put a engine cradle over across here, the old Harbor Freight one from the 90s. I'm gonna drop the frame, the subframe, and see how that works out. See how this really goes. Not disturb the adjustment on the cable, the shift cable. Just leave the shift cable together, take the bracket off, pop it off the little nib there, and you're good to go. All the area in here, the battery tray comes out. It'll sneak out underneath the fuse panel here. This bracket right here holds all your wiring. You just remove it, unclip the wiring, gives you all this room right here. You can get to the top of the bolts and everything with the bell housing up in there. Now all I gotta do is set it up so she's nice and steady, and we can go from the bottom. Start getting the bottom. Now that I have the engine securely supported, I'm up here. I take all the cabling off. There's 3 bolts on the top of the bell housing right there. There's gonna hold, 2 of them are gonna hold some grounds, and you're gonna have to get a deep socket to 15 millimeter to get them out. When I get those 3 out, that'll let me work on the bottom. I can start with the bottom. I can start working on the torque converter bolts and taking off that cross member from the bottom. In order to drop out the engine cradle, cross member, you have to disconnect the lower control arms. You also have to take the drive shafts out. And this being a Jersey Shore vehicle, the shafts are frozen inside. Bearing inside the spindle. So they're going to need to be pushed out. Like so, and that's well, gonna have to happen. Alright, now we got the old Harbor Freight 2,000 pound transmission jack hooked up with the 4x4s, holding on to the subframe. Now we need to take the 4 bolts that go to the subframe, 21 millimeters, one at a time, and we'll lower her down. This one here, you know, these cars are down the shore. You hope and pray that they don't rust in places like the gate frame bolt, because those frame bolts get stuck in there. They can snap. I've had them do that to me before. I hope it doesn't happen to this one. There are 4 of them come out nice and easy. There's one. Let's get the rest of them. Then we can lower this down. Alright, now all 4 bolts have been loosened. Not tightened, but loosened, right? And now all I gotta do is lower this down. One bolt seems to have something holding it in. It's not threaded in. Let's go down slowly and see how she comes out. Okay. And we might have some things to move, and the only thing holding this right now is that engine brace up there. That's the only thing holding the engine and transmission there. Let's hope it don't break, huh? We go down. We go down. There she goes. Oh yeah, moving a little bit there. Nice thing to always have a hoist laying around outside, just in case. But this is part 1 of me doing this. And it looks like everything's coming out nice. I think I just have to move the power steering rack back there. It's a little stuck, but that should be a lot of work in this humidity and heat. It's been a horrible, horrible run. Doing it this way. But sometimes you have no choice. But that little Harbor Freight, 2,000 pounds transmission jack and the max jack low lift does a good job. Well worth the time and money. Took the last bolt out of the bell housing right there. Gone. There's one on the other side where the kind of like a nose. If it was a rear-wheel drive transmission, that would be the back of it, but it's right underneath here and up a little bit. I'll go over and show it to you. Kind of a pain because you got to get all the way in here, take a long extension. The easiest way to get in and out. Right in there. All the way back in there, you'll see it. There's a hole. And it actually dropped between there and the tail sort of the thing that this thing has. And I gotta get into it, but there's a ratchet strap holding it on. This one's not that heavy, so one strap should be okay. But I could always be wrong when I separate this thing, which is what I'm going to do in the next second. Okay, we're going to gently pry it out. Make sure it's all loose. Yep, loose away from the block. There comes the bolt that I drop. It'll come out when I lower it a little bit. Very controlled. Should come out very controlled. No problem. On the other side. Try it a little bit, maybe. A little bit and past the take a look. I can pass those dowel pins. Yeah, it looks like it's past the dowel pins. Should start coming down. Not much magnetic around here to put the light to, let me tell you that. Not fun. Looking for something magnetic to actually put the light to. Nothing's holding her. There's the bolt. All I had to do was go on the other side and pry it loose from its skeleton, and it's ready to come out now. Now we just take it down nice and controlled. Back it up a little bit at a time. Back her up. Back her up. Bring it down. Now when you get to here, you can start tilting her the other way, so it'll be balanced. What's nice about the jack, it actually has a pretty decent, easy enough to tilt. And down she goes. And a little bit forward, but it's no big deal. We just move it again. And we bring her down. All the way. This jack don't owe me a dime. And that's how you take the transmission out. Now in part 2, I'm going to probably not show putting it back in. I'll just show it getting done. And if it works, if the used transmission I put in is going to work. If it don't, it don't. But let's hope it does. It's always the roll of the dice. Thanks for watching.